Hello, and welcome to Recap Nation. Today, we will be recapping a 2022 movie called Puss in the Boots: The Last Wish. Spoilers ahead, so sit back and enjoy. A long time ago, a wishing star fell from the sky and landed in a forest, giving birth to the Dark Forest. In the next scene, we see the legendary Puss in Boots enjoying himself at the house of the governors of the land of Delmar while people cheer for him. He asks them to feel at home and gives them a gift of gold coins. However, Puss throws a party in the governor's house without his consent. When the governor returns and sees most of his expensive and valuable items destroyed and messed up, he becomes furious and orders his soldiers to arrest Puss. As they attack, Puss effortlessly fights the soldiers while his celebrants keep cheering and singing. He outsmarts the soldiers and undresses the governor, finally setting off some fireworks and launching himself out of the house. Unfortunately, the sound of the fireworks awakens a monster that lies beside the city. The monster rips off the roof of the house as the party is going on and begins capturing everyone. Seeing this, Puss decides to engage in one-on-one combat with the monster, trying to stop it from destroying the village. He smartly wraps a bell rope around the monster, knocking it down. The people cheer him on for saving their lives, but suddenly the bell fell, and Puss is crushed to the ground. Puss wakes up and finds himself in the house of the village doctor. After performing some tests, the doctor tells Puss that he has died. However, Puss laughs and tells the doctor not to worry because he is a cat and has 9 lives. When the doctor asks him how many times he has died, Puss says he cannot remember because he is not a math guy. But he was able to recall the events that caused all his deaths, including being run off by a bull, being killed by groups of dogs while playing cards, falling off a tower while drinking, being crushed by a weight lift, trying to launch himself out of a can, having an allergic reaction to shellfish, and getting burned while making cookies. The time he was crushed by the bell means Puss is down to his last life. The doctor seriously advises Puss to retire from his life of adventure, but the cat seems confident and says he has nothing to worry about. The doctor gives him the address of a woman named Mama Luna, a cat fancier, and tells him he will be safe there. Puss is not happy with the idea, so he leaves. He goes to a bar and complains about what the doctor said while taking a drink. Puss is met by a mysterious big bad wolf, who compliments him and asks him to sign his autograph. However, looking at the wanted paper, Puss knows the guy is there to kill him. So he immediately draws his sword to defend himself, but the wolf quickly disarms him. The guy proves to be one of Puss's most challenging enemies he has ever faced in his entire life. The guy is so fast and effortlessly dodges Puss's attacks that he manages to cut Puss with his scythe. For the first time in his life, Puss realizes what he fears, so he flees for his life, leaving his sword with the wolf, and he has no choice but to retire from his life of adventures. He buries his boots, hat, and cape as if he himself were dead for good. Puss finally took the doctor's advice and went to Mama Luna's house, where the old woman adopted him and gave him a new name, Pickle. She also introduced him to the hundreds of cats she had adopted. However, Puss became miserable and frustrated with his no-domesticated life, and now he has grown bears. One day, he met a dog pretending to be a cat, who was excited to discover that Puss is a talking cat and can talk like him. From then on, Perrito spent all his time following Puss around. The dog has no name, so Puss calls him Perrito. Meanwhile, Goldilocks and the 3 bears, Papa, Mama and Baby, who were hunters searching for Puss for a secret job, tracked him and made their way to Mama Luna's house. Upon breaking in, they demanded that she hand over Puss in the Boot to them, but she denied having such a cat. After some interrogations, Mama Luna got scared and fainted. Goldilocks asked Baby to sniff out Puss, and when he picked him up, Puss, who had grown a beard and no longer wore his outfit, went unrecognized. Suddenly, one of the bears called out to them, and when they saw where he had buried his outfit, they mistook it for his grave and decided to carry on with an alternative plan. Puss overheard them talking about their need for him to steal a map to the wishing star for a heist, and the map was in the hands of a magician named Big Jack Horner. Upon hearing this, Puss got excited and decided to return to his heroics to go after the map himself, realizing he could use his wish on the star to wish for his other lives back. He asked Perrito to dig up his heroic outfit from the grave. Puss sneaked into Big Jack's house, but he was followed by Perrito, who thought he could be of great help. Big Jack was a collector of various magical artifacts from other fairy tales, such as Cinderella's glass slipper, poison apples, and the growing cookie from Alice in Wonderland. He hoped to use the map to find the wishing star so he could possess all the magic in the world. As Big Jack rewarded the women who brought the box carrying the map, Puss attempted to grab the map, but he was interrupted by his longtime friend, Kitty. As they fought for the map, Goldilocks and the 3 bears ripped off the roof and jumped inside. Goldilocks was angry with Kitty for double-crossing them, as she had recruited her for the job, and she was also angry with Puss for a recent betrayal. As the magical items dropped, Kitty and Puss took the opportunity to climb the magic mat, but Jack spotted them and ordered his henchmen to catch them. However, Puss and Kitty hopped on a carriage driven by Perrito to get away from Jack's henchmen. As the men chased after them, Puss had the idea of throwing bags of coins to distract the crowd, and they were able to escape. However, Puss became afraid when he saw Wolf in the midst of the crowd. Jack gathered his baker's dozen of henchmen, along with the necessary magical artifacts, and went after Puss to get the map back. Puss, Kitty, and Perrito stopped running and continued their journey to the star. Along the way, Puss and Kitty kept bickering over who should hold the map until they reached the mouth of the Dark Forest portal. Upon entering the Dark Forest, they found the place to be so beautiful and colorful. But when they opened the map, they discovered that the environment could change depending on who was holding it. When Puss and Kitty grabbed it, their paths became dark and dangerous, but when Perrito held it, the path turned into a happy rainbow land, due to his endless optimism. The cats decided to let him hold the map. They then noticed Goldie and the bears dropping down, which made them move faster. On their journey, the trio had to get through a pocket full of posies, a field of giant flowers that attacked Puss and Kitty. The two cats kept trying to attack the flowers but were continuously defeated. On the other hand, Perrito's sniffing of the flowers endeared them to him. The cats had to stop and smell the roses. That was how the trio was able to pass that stage. Goldie and the bears, along with Jack and his henchmen, also came across the posies. Big Jack threw them below the cliff, making him and his men approach the posies. When the flowers blocked the road, he asked them to cut them down. As they started, the flowers began attacking, and Jack's men were eaten and outright killed by the flowers. Jack then looked for a magical icon to destroy the flowers. When he finally found a cricket, he asked the cricket to destroy the flowers, but the cricket told him he didn't have the ability to do so. Instead, his ability was to find the good in Jack and be his conscience. Jack finally found a flaming bird and burned down the flowers, while Goldie and the bears were able to fight their way through. The main trio kept moving, with Perrito telling Puss and Kitty his backstory. His original family would routinely try to get rid of him, and they finally managed to get rid of him for good by throwing him in a socks with a stone into the river. While Puss and Kitty were mortified by how sad his story was, Perrito saw it as funny and called it a win-win. As they sailed in a boat, Puss's beard began irritating him, and he begged Kitty to help him shave. She agreed, and after the shave, she handed him the blade as a gift. As he threw the stick Perrito gave him, he jumped and ended up wandering away from the group into a brightly colored forest, where Jack and his goons were waiting. They grabbed Perrito and asked the trio to surrender the map or they would eliminate Perrito immediately. Goldie and the bears showed up and started attacking Jack and his goons. Perrito took the opportunity to escape. As they engaged in a fight, Jack accidentally killed his men each time he hit them with unicorn horns that made them burst into confetti. During the struggle, the Black Wolf showed up, and Puss became afraid and began to run deep into the forest. Goldie and the bears took the map from the trio. As Goldie opened the map, the environment began to change into a darker and scarier forest. Puss kept running, fearing that the wolf was following him. Perrito found Puss and tried to comfort him. Puss confessed to Perrito that he needed the wish to save his life. He also explained to Perrito what he had done to make Kitty angry with him. He had left her at the altar on their wedding day because he felt there was no room for anyone in his life of adventure. Kitty overheard Puss express regret for hurting her and decided to help him get back up. Goldie and the bears used the map to find their old cottage, where they first met. Each of them found their favorites, but Goldie tried to convince them that it was not real and was just an obstacle. However, when she saw her favorite book, she kept silent and stared at it. The book reminded her of her younger self. Goldie was an orphan girl, and one day she broke into the bear cabin. From that day on, the bears took her in as part of their family. The trio sneaked into the cottage to steal the map and found most of them sleeping, except Goldie. But Puss managed to take it back and hide under the table. When Goldie hit the table, they all discovered Puss. They surrounded him and asked him to hand over the map, but he threw it to Kitty, who was with him. Suddenly, Kitty opened the map, causing the environment to begin to change and the cabin to break into two. But Goldie threw her staff at Kitty, sticking the map to a tree. Puss and Kitty used their fighting skills to retrieve the map. During their escape, Goldie took Perrito as a hostage, and as the environment kept changing, Puss collected the map and opened it. The environment began changing again, and Puss got trapped in a crystal cave with the map. Puss looked for a way out while Kitty go after the bears to rescue Perrito. As Goldie and Baby exchanged insults, Perrito told them that they had a perfect family, and they just didn't realize it. He wished he had won, and the bears started to like Purito. But Kitty took Purito and escaped, while Goldie and the bears got lost in the forest, leading to another quarrel. Goldie revealed that her wish was to have a human family, which made the bears sad because they all loved her as a family member. Mama promised to help Goldie. Jack used his henchmen to make a bridge to the other side of the mountain, but as he tried to bring his carriage with him, all his henchmen died due to the weight. The cricket realized that Jack was a terrible person and got flicked off his shoulder. Back in the cave, Puss stalked with his 8 lives, who appeared in 8 different crystals. His 8 lives persuaded him to go for the wish so he could become a legend again, but they realized he was happy with his current life. They started mocking him and calling him names. Puss got angry and began finding his way out. Suddenly, the black wolf showed up in the cave and revealed himself as Death, saying that since Puss didn't value his 8 past lives, he had come to collect the last one. Puss ran away in fear, and as Kitty saw him running, not knowing what was happening, she thought he was trying to play them. Finally, Puss arrived at the location of the star and stepped on it to begin reciting the incantation for his wish. However, his moment was interrupted by the sudden arrival of Kitty and Purito. Kitty, misunderstanding the situation, accused Puss of betraying her. Puss tried to explain that Death was after him and that he was down to his last life. But before he could finish, Goldie, the bears, Jack, and his henchmen appeared, and in each of them takes a position. A fierce fight broke out, and the wishing star began rising up, creating a force field that pulled people out of the battle. Jack's last henchman was swallowed by the force field, and even Baby was pulled away by the light. Goldie sacrificed her wish to save Baby, realizing that the bears were her true family. Kitty engaged in a fight with Jack and knocked him into his bottomless bag to save Purito. Finally, Purito took the map to Puss, as he was about to make his wish to get back his 8 lives. The black wolf appeared and trapped Puss in a ring of fire, taunting him for his fear of death. The wolf gave Puss back his sword, which he had left in the bar, and Puss, thinking about Kitty and Purito and the time they had spent together, decided to make his last life count. He picked up his sword and dueled with the wolf. After a fierce battle, Puss disarmed the wolf and finally managed to defeat him. The wolf becomes angry but decides to leave Puss for another time. Just as Puss thought the battle was over, Jack appeared from his bag, having eaten a magic cookie that made him grow big. He seized the map and tried to make a wish, but Purito, taught by Kitty, tried to distract him with his puppy eyes. However, Jack was too much of a jerk for it to work, but it gave Goldie time to throw Puss and Kitty towards Jack while the bears joined in the fight. Puss, Kitty, and Goldie realized they didn't need the map and ripped it apart, causing the star to disintegrate. Jack tried to piece it back together, but he was missing a piece that the cricket had. The cricket used Jack's phoenix to burn the missing piece and destroy the map completely. The star disintegrated, absorbed Jack, and shot back into the sky, exploding. Goldie and the bears said their goodbyes to Puss and his friends, while Purito decided to keep his name and stay with them. They sat together and watched the stars. A few days later, the governor found out that his boat had been stolen and knew it was a Puss who did it. Puss, Kitty, and Purito embarked on new adventures and planned to visit old friends. What did you think of this video? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.